Hello, welcome to Tarot for Our Times. This is Sarah, your medium on the go, and I'm going to talk about journalism as far as the battle of integrity and the corporate news, cable news, network news, that sort of thing. So um, it seems as though I'm centering this, if you as you see on the thumbnail, I have Leslie Stahl as the magician upright. So I wanted to find a card for what I've thought in the tarot would symbolize journalism, and I came up with the magician, but I wanted to check and see if my colleagues were in agreement. So I did a little work on Google, and it turns out that oftentimes the magician is representative of journalism, and it has the elements. We have the that little staff pointing to upward, that for the high standards, and forming the public. Then we have the sword on the table, which is about truth and communication. And I think in the foreground, is that the rod? Yes, the rod is on the table. And that is also a communication, and it's getting it out as quickly as you can. The cup is upright in that there is emotional impact in stories, but we keep it on an even keel and be objective. And of course, the pentacle is about probably the more tedious but the most very important job that journalists do in the follow the money thing. It's the tedious thing of going through financial records and doing all of that work to get to the bottom of things. And it seems as though in these readings, Pentacles has played a big part, because there is money involved in this. So we have all these elements together to make journalism, and he's got a little infinity sign over his head to say that this is a continuous and ongoing thing. However, with CBS, and I would say that's why I have Leslie Stahl, because she has been challenging CBS and 60 Minutes about caving in to taco tits. And isn't it something that it seems to be the majority of people standing up to this big baby bully of women? They're men that have. I just love the governor of California. He has, and of course there's Bernie and others. But a lot of it has been women. So that's why I had Leslie Stahl as she's been around for a long time. She's 81. Wait a minute. Her birthday's later in the year, in 1941. So she's 83, I guess, and now she's looking very good too, very healthy, which means that just because you're 79 doesn't mean you're falling apart. But there are certain people that are 79 and falling apart. So then she represents, in this instance, what journalism should be. And if these outlets are not being true to themselves and those that consume the news, then the journalists have to call it out. Oh, it must be. I'm telling you, for those in the trenches right now and digging up the stories, it has got to be a nightmare when the bottom line is more important. So then we have the magician in reverse, which in my thumbnail, I have as CBS. So you have the whiny white male, is the IHIP ladies call him the beta male, with the cup in reverse, because they're following what the pedant says. Then we have that's cup in reverse. Sword in reverse. Well, if we've got to lie to make a buck, or if we omit and lie, which takes care of the swords and the rods, that's it. And then they're doing it for the money, and there very well could be some corruption. I mean, why not, for entertainment purposes only, why not looking to see what money is being shoveled in a fairly unethical way? And now we have the rod pointed downward, which means that they are not going for the good of the public, to inform the public. They're going for the good of the bottom line, and that's why I have dollar signs all over it. So that is the Magician in reverse. So it seems like that state channels like Occupy Democrats and Midas Touch, which now Midas Touch has so many different people, like the Justice thing, and they've got the spin-offs with millennials and Gen Zs that are doing a great job in reporting, and people are watching that. Very few, I think the cable news and network news has really taken a big hit and fallen off, especially in the past year. I think the sane washing of, a presidential candidate that talks about sharks and Hannibal Lecter and treats him like, oh, that's normal, it's so they've been losing a lot of popularity. I think the product, the sponsors must be taking a very big hit on this, but this is the wave of the future, and it's something that can't be controlled, because if they try to screw around with YouTube, guess what? Someone else is just going to pop up. So I want to take a look and see how long they can carry on with this charade. I saw, CNN oh no, I wasn't watching CNN. I was watching, I think it was one of the Midas Touch things, and they were talking about some BS about how the Epstein story is a big nothing burger, that people aren't Googling it, and all this sort of thing. I'm highly suspect of where they're getting their statistics. Highly suspect of that. So I thought, well, that now I see why I really don't watch that crap anymore. So I just want to do a read and say, where is it now? Where is it going? And I'll see if there's any need for me to do any follow-up readings. So, and just to see where the reading goes, to see what's going to happen with this, because I mean, now they're infighting. You got Rupert Murdoch, he's got his knickers in a knot, and the thing is that they don't want, I know when I saw that CNN clip, I thought that's just an excuse for them to not report on it, but I think they're going, and Epstein is coming into every reading I have done, and other readings that I'm seeing too. So people are, even if there is some truth to that, people are kind of on summer break, and they're reading trashy novels on the beach and maybe not looking, that this will change. As more news breaks, this will change. And for them to make that assumption is it's really an insult to our intelligence, but that's what corporate news is all about. So let's see where they are at now as I use the Gilded Royale. Okay. Where we are now is, Eight of Wands, and this is very good, because to me this is the energy of what journalism is all about. This is telling me that there's going to be so much breaking news, and there's a lot of stuff with with Taco Tits thinking he's going to Russia when it's Alaska tomorrow, all of this sort of thing. But Epstein has a way of coming into it, and it's only increasing. They can, that they can go and report and on what they think they want to, but people get disgusted and they just flip open the laptop or plug YouTube into their TVs. Now that you can plug YouTube in the TV set, why would anybody turn on CNN or even MSNBC? The people I like on MSNBC, I just look them up on YouTube and watch them without the rest of the bullshit. So at any rate, so the before tarot and leading up to it is, interesting. 5 of Wands. Okay. Looks like they're getting their little weapons together, getting ready to fight. I suspect, and this is very, very relevant to the whole Leslie Stahl calling them out on it. As Lena Rodriguez said a number of months ago, courage is contagious, that there may be some others gearing up to the fight. But what that's also going to do is that there are going to be the ass kissers that, they want to come up in the corporate news world. So there will probably be, they'll be willing to bend the knee. So there's going to be a lot of fighting about this. And they're getting ready to start it. Now, when I looked her up, the story came up in June. But since I saw something about this on one of the YouTube channels, so it looks like it's coming. It's coming up again. Well, I guess maybe the fall season's about ready to begin. Okay, so at any rate, so as a result of this, we have, well, the 5 of Swords is saying he's, they're sort of like they're in the process of, to trying to grab the power, and grab it all away from everyone else. So it's becoming, all these stations are becoming very competitive. Now the Epstein story, as it gets a little juicier, and it is now that Melania is all in the mix now. So as that story, see, it never goes away. As that story picks up, they may decide that their bottom line is saying, ooh, scandal with sex, even though it's rape, is, boy, that'll sell some products. So they may be picking up on that. I scroll through the local, my WTAE, which is the ABC affiliate in Pittsburgh, and the NBC, WPXI, the NBC, and the MSNBC. I kind of scroll through their Facebook pages, and they're really ignoring the Epstein thing. But this is telling me I don't know if they can do that for much longer. So okay, so the energy of this is, they're trying to walk away from this story, but they can't. They're facing away, but it's too, this is interesting because I didn't expect this to happen. It's too emotionally charged for them to walk completely away. So they're kind of in a holding position. They may not be able to make up their minds yet. So underlying stuff with this. Okay, we have in the death. I think that in the back of their minds, even though they may be capitulating to Trump right now, they also know that this is the big, that they may be going forward. They're ready to go forward with this, because it could very well be the beginning of the end. So they're kind of keeping that in the back of their mind. So It is about beginning and ending, and I think what they're going to have to do is maybe stop bending the knee. If it's going to help their bottom line, they will. But this horse isn't exactly galloping, but it's kind of they could be getting ready to jump on the story if it gains traction, especially since Melania is now involved. And here they go, as far as the public goes, with CNN and the rest of them, and CBS, all of them. They're kind of in a big collective of being out there alone, and their job is to shine the light on the whole situation. But they may be shining their light on just shiny little objects that the administration wants them to shine it on. Okay, then we have coming up the losing of the illusion. So, cynicism, cynicism and making a buck. Because this is, maybe I'm a cynic, but I'm starting to see this as that we get into the fall, they may be reporting this, but it's not because they think pedophilia and child trafficking is all that. And I'm not talking about the people that are, reporting it and doing the research. I'm talking about the guys in the upper offices. And I don't think they really care about that, but if it's going to be a big story and be the ending of a presidency, they may just say, well, to hell with him. We need to report this. So, in opposition to all of this, we have, as much as they're tempted to do this, they're kind of in a holding pattern. I mean, they're not quite ready. They're sort of taking a breather from that story right now. But I always notice in all of the decks that, there's the fourth sword on the coffin, and all that guy has to do is reach down and grab it. So they're holding the story close for when they want to do it. Okay. So, on the conscious level of this, we have the Two of Pentacles in reverse. So this is they're in a spot now, because I know that they've lost viewership, which means people are not seeing their sponsors. And, I mean, not everybody stopped, but enough people have stopped watching this because they say, oh yeah, when people are pissed off about the election, they don't watch us, but they come back. I don't think it's happening. I don't think there's too much good stuff on YouTube. It's not happening. So, their bottom line is falling off. They do not want that ship to sink. So, consciously, I think they're trying to figure out how and when they can I think the bit is like the timing. When can we time this? So, subconscious, we have the King of Pentacles. So, I would say it could be the collective people wondering, when can we go against the money bags, the money holders? Who knows? Maybe this is Rupert Murdoch. So this could be that subconsciously they're kind of waiting for someone at the top who holds the purse strings, because that's who makes the decision. So they're kind of on hold, but they know that this has to be done. But subconsciously, they're beta people. They're just going to follow the bosses and the leader. And this would be the lower level of executives. I think a lot of these people that are in the field and behind the mics are probably chomping at the bit to do this, because they know they're being In fact, though, some of them are guests on the YouTube things because they know they're getting scooped by their internet competition. So that's a very interesting position to be in. Okay. So, in the past, we have, okay, this is very interesting. We have, this does fall in the whole thing. This is the Six of Swords, and they're getting ready to embark on the boat to get the hell out of the rough waters so they can go smooth sailing ahead. It just occurred to me, this is making me that all of these cards are telling me that the Leslie Stalls of of these places are they're getting ready to maybe open their mouths. Now I know that Joy Reid, one of my faves on MSNBC, is she's gone, but she's doing her thing. She's doing her podcasts and all those things. So they're either going to report it or they're going to go the way of some of these other people and say to hell with it. I think Glenn Kirshner has stepped down from MSNBC as a legal eagle. So this is telling me they're either going to start to talk about it or they're going to, one way they're going on to into the waters they want to, whether it's they're going to do it on the air or they're going to do it independently in a podcast. Okay, so that is the past. In the past, they've been kind of getting ready. Now, where are they at? Okay, so yep, they feel like they've got all this information. Their bosses are telling them, "Oh, it's poison. You got to walk away from it." With this being in reverse, it's saying, we may be walking away from it on your platform, but we may have to go elsewhere to do our jobs. I mean, I think what's happening is the big boys upstairs are preventing people from doing their jobs. So that what this is telling me is expect some more of them to leave. Now I know Rachel Maddow, she wants to stay and fight, and I think we need some of those too. So, but believe me, she will be challenging them, and she does speak her mind. But the whole energy of MSNBC and the rest is like, there's only so far we can go. We have to bend the knee and yada yada, and that's what's causing that six. They're all getting ready to fight. They really are. With this at the with the Five of Wands in the beginning. So, in the immediate future, they know. Yeah, I'm talking about the ones, the guys in the trenches, whether they're in the field or whether they're in the studio. They know that where they are is being judged very badly, and that the public is not on board with the old guard of the news. And Gabriel is blowing his horn, but they're not. They are choosing not to. Those that make the policies are choosing not to answer it. So, going a little bit, but it's a story they won't be able to ignore. They're really cutting their own throats. Okay, so then we have, following that, we have they're going to realize they are being left out in the cold. They're not there yet, but they are going to realize that they are being, let's see, because we've got the whole family out here now. They are out, and they're being left out in the cold. that they're getting to be more on the outside and going a bit more into the future. We have the King of Swords, who's getting mighty, mighty sick of having that sword that has to be, boy, is that symbolic of what's going on. We have the sword, it's stuck in the ground. He wants to pull it out and communicate and tell the truth of what he wants to, but they're saying, look at the birdie, look at the birdie. And so this guy looks a bit frustrated. So he's getting he's pretty tired of it's like burying your head in the sand, and that we can't have these shiny little objects to distract. There is no distraction because it all comes back to a scandal, and scandals have a way of taking on a life of their own. So let's see what we have in the hopes and the fears of all of this. We have, here we go. We've got the Magician. So it's the hopes with all of their resources, they can make the magic and make things happen. But the fear is that the magic is going somewhere else. And I think it's really coming down to they're losing their people. I mean, what's this? Don Lemon. That's another one. Wow, has that guy, I listened to his stuff, that guy has blossomed since he left CNN. Now that he can, it's really interesting to see like him and Joy Reid and some of these others that are no longer chained to what the executives want them to do, is to say like, wow, these people are really blossoming out. So the fear is that the magic is going elsewhere. That's the whole thing. So since this is the only reading, I think I want to do the okay. How these right now, because they gotta know that this just isn't working. But okay. So how they see themselves. Okay, so how they see themselves. They're starting to see themselves as that they're not exactly putting out the most honest and truthful news. Maybe that the whole thing is that that whole thing is starting to break up, is that they're seeing themselves like, we're not exactly the purveyors of truth in the news, because they know this is telling me they know that people are going to the internet, to YouTube and to TikTok and all these other things. Of course, you have to know that the people are credible, because there's a lot of garbage on that stuff, on these platforms too. So how other people see them, it's that they're clueless. People are seeing them as clueless, and that they're reaching and trying to maybe get some help or to make some changes to get out of the cold. But they're not making the right decisions. They're just not making the right decisions. So the public is pretty much wanting to keep them really out of and this reversal me is saying that you're not getting in there at all. Because we have the choice of not watching you. So that's what's going on. So in conclusion, we have the Eight of Pentacles. Yep, all of this stuff that they stacked up, all the old way of, the money and the sponsors and everything, it's not working anymore. It just is not working. It's like whatever, of course, back in the olden days with Walter Cronkite, and I'll go back for Edward R. Murrow, who was a war correspondent, and John Cameron Swayze, and all these people they're all on the other side now. It's that it was a whole different ball game, because life was presenting the news was just was a very simple thing. You didn't have all these fancy schmancy sets and the razzle dazzle, so all what they've been putting their money into doing with the production is not working anymore, and they are starting to hemorrhage money. So I want to see what is the energy around that. They've got their backs against the wall. They really put themselves in a position where people really do not want to hear their bullshit anymore. That's really what it's coming down to. And they're backed up against the wall so much that they're, the guy's ready to go out the window. So I think what this is telling me is that I think there may be some of the suits that would like to start to report on this, and that would like to fight the lawsuits and that sort of thing, but there are a few people at the very top who are really bend the knee. And there's a lot of people that don't face it, they just don't have a lot of courage. But I'm getting a sense in this reading that, like with this, getting ready to fight, all this sort of thing, that the people that do bring us the news, they're chomping at the bit. They're really chomping at the bit, and it's maybe a matter of time before they. What I is that the guys upstairs are saying, we get a lot of viewership with this, with this person and that person. I think they really didn't care. They really didn't give a shit, about, so what if we lose Joy Reid or this one? I think that's going to be changing. This is what I'm seeing. It's going to be changing because they get some douchebags that don't know what they're doing. People are really not going to watch. And so it's a matter of, I think they're trying to figure out, well, how can we do this? And, I think they want to have it both ways. I think they're trying to figure out how can we have it both ways. When they realize they can't, and it's time to stand up to the bully, like, we need more Leslie Stalls. Sorry, we really do. That woman's been around. She's a veteran. She's been around for a long time. She certainly paid her dues. And I think the thing is, it may take more than where they're going to have to say, well, we'll stand up to the bully and let the chips fall where they may. But the thing is that they are beholden. It's like too many candidates are beholden to the big donors. So I think I want to do just a very quick draw and seeing what the future is. You're taking all of this into consideration. What is the future going to be with this? And it's only going to be a few cards. So that's what I say. And then there goes the deck. Okay. So taking this into consideration, as this scandal starts to grow, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Okay, so I don't need to I took so few, I don't need to shuffle this up a whole lot. Okay, and so what are they going to do? Oops. Because this scandal is not going away. Now there's some people in Congress, they're digging up the witnesses. The witnesses are coming. They're coming up. The victims And I think that's going to be a whole, and that's what I thought was going to be happening. Okay. So, let's see what's going to happen. So, the energy right now is, Queen of Pentacles in reverse. This is homeland security. And as I've said in previous readings, the whole scandal is very international. The Russians are really good at doing that. They've got like all these, underage girls that they're turning out to prostitution, and it's an international thing. And it does have that's why this has to do with the Epstein being in with Mossad. I'm sure KGB, the rest of them, it's about, this is so scandalous, it's about selling information and blackmail. So this is definitely, it may not look like it directly, but it is a threat to have anything like this go on and to let that horrible woman out. It is a danger to our homeland security. It truly is. So the energy of this is the Five of Swords in reverse, which is talking about with this theft and theft of information and all of this clandestine stuff going on around this. And it has to do with a lot of criminal enterprises, but unfortunately this is one of the more lucrative ones. But I always think of this and its cousin, the Seven of Swords in reverse, is that not only are these people walking away, but this guy's going to get caught. He's getting caught. And this is this is something that that Taco Bell may not be able to get himself out of, because it's people getting wise to this and knowing the implications of this. So leading up to it, we have the Chariot. The guy is he's getting all aboard the Chariot. He's going to go, hey, Sphinxes, time for you to wake up, rise and shine. So I think which goes with the reading, they're getting ready. I think they're trying to figure out, how can we do this? Getting ready to move forward. Maybe more the underlings that may do it. It's one of those things. What, are they going to fire everybody? So this is kind of like the getting ready to, because they know that this is a big hot story that could go international. So in the after tarot of this, what the result of this will be is Knight of Cups in reverse, where he is he's drinking the drink, but it's in reverse. So this means like a lot of emotional turmoil, substance abuse, this sort of thing, which it gets me to the point that it's interesting how this stuff is always connected with drugs and alcohol, that this is part of the message is toxicity of this Knight in reverse, which is also, I'm going to take this to be that not only does he spread the message, but he is also dealing the drugs. That as this scandal gets uncovered, they'll find that it's not only selling children, but it's also there will be drugs tied in with this. So this is pretty much what's going on. So when this becomes the national security threat and people start getting caught, then you get other crimes like drugs that will be uncovered. Then you're probably going to get the cable and the network news away from the sane washing and treating him as normal. And don't forget, the cognitive stuff is like, now, it's like a daily thing. It's worse. So I think the lesson that they're going to learn is that they are going to be light years behind the rest of people reporting. But it really comes down to the fact that they may not have a choice. They may have to do this. But I think it's going to take a lot. I don't think they're there yet, but I think that I will say the pressure's on. That's what I want to say. The pressure is definitely on. And there will be some holdouts. I also think that Rupert Murdoch, as the King of Pentacles, is getting, I think he's sick of Trump. I think he's, that he wants those Epstein files to be released. So he may have a hand in moving this along. But he doesn't own CBS. I mean, it's all very involved. But I think that what I get from this reading is that once they're waiting for a domino to fall. So once a domino falls in their world, the rest will fall. But it's going to take some time, but I think they're seeing that it is inevitable. But then again, they will have been behind everybody else. So at any rate, that's how I see it now. Now you all know from all of us that as time goes on, the energy shifts. So of course I will be coming back to this topic again. But I want to say I really do salute Leslie Stahl because, we need people that have been around for a while, that they don't really want to get rid of her, that really do need to speak up and say, you guys were a bunch of schmucks for caving in, because that's a bullshit lawsuit. So at any rate, I am going to sign off for now. So bye.